Of course, we have foam plate, and PCB foam. Keyboards don't need foam. Back in 2021, keyboards didn't come with foam. It was as simple as it gets. You grab a keyboard kit, you put on switches, finish off with keycaps, and your build is done. But in 2022, ThoGH gained an insane amount of popularity and foam started to integrate itself into the hobby. Fast forward a year or two, foam is now an essential part of custom keyboards and is found in every single keyboard. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't hate foam, alright? Foam is just a method for those of you who prefer a certain sound profile. But there's something about the boards in 2021 which you cannot achieve with foam. And that's exactly what QWERTY has been trying to do. They have a Neo65 series which basically emphasizes on the essence of an old school keyboard. So let me show you what that sounds like with the Neo65 CU. Now, the CU series isn't old school in all aspects. It still uses modern day features for mounting and etc. Our case itself is the key point to this kit. First of all, the sheer density and weight of the case is no joke. We're looking at 2.5 kilograms of aluminum and brass. It's giving the elegant and classic custom keyboard look which suits it really well. It has a very smooth and clean separation between the top and bottom frame, and the bottom case has some really slick curves that create a more slender look to the board. On our weight, we also have a simple compass design, but enough about looks, let's start building. For PCBs, we have three different options that they offer: tri-mode, wired, and soldered. All of them are 1.6mm, no flex cuts, support for both NC and ISO layout, hot swappable without any RGB. And I love this PCB. It's everything I loved about PCBs back then. No flex cuts, 1.6mm, and no RGB. Now, onto our plate. I have two plates with me today. I have a carbon fiber plate and a polycarbonate plate. I will be using both of these in two separate builds, but let's for now focus on our first build. I'll be using the carbon fiber plate paired with the HMX Hyacinth switches and nothing else. It's as simple as it gets: a PCB, plate, and switches. No PE foam, no plate foam whatsoever, and it was actually pretty easy to install switches without plate foam. The same thing goes for our case. No case foam, and before we complete the build, in this bottom case, we have a nice acoustic chamber. When paired with brass or copper, it really helps minimize the hollowness of the board. Now, for mounting, we have two different options. The first one I want to show is the isolated top mount. Basically, with a silicone gasket, it reduces vibrations and allows for a cleaner sound profile. So to finish off the build, there are no cables whatsoever. Our daughterboard connection is fully magnetic, and for keycaps, I went with GMK Hennessy and the board looks amazing. So here's how it sounds. To be honest, I don't even know how to describe it. You could say it's clacky, but I feel like there's something a little more to it than just the word clacky. And that something a little bit more about this custom keyboard is, I would say, the essence of a custom keyboard. It's just what the kit sounds like, not the foam, not the switches whatsoever. It's just yeah, like, you know. But now let's move on to our second build where I'll be trying out some foam on this board. So for this build, I'll be using the polycarbonate plate with plate foam as well as our second mounting style, the PCB gasket bean mount. I'll be using the same switches and case foam. They did provide a PE foam, but I feel like this is not a video where I want to use PE foam, so we'll avoid it for now. So here's how it sounds. In my opinion, it does sound pretty nice even with the plate and case foam. It doesn't sound like that generic foamy board that we are so used to. It definitely has a pretty unique sound profile, especially on the alphas. Although it's definitely deeper sounding than our first build, I feel like there is a very subtle amount of clack mixed in with it that makes it sound a little more unique, which I believe is thanks to our case, the weight, the material, and the chamber. So yeah, the Neo65 CU, its main purpose is to capture that old school essence of a custom keyboard while implementing all the new features we love in modern day keyboards. Maybe some of you might think it looks a little plain, it looks a little too simple, but I'm sure some of you who have been in the hobby long enough can understand and appreciate how beautiful and how nice this keyboard sounds. So if you're interested, everything will be linked down below. The sale will be starting next week in 7 days. I will also be taking a look at the Neo60 Core and the Neo60 CU and comparing them both. So if you're interested, subscribe, like this video if you enjoyed this video, comment your thoughts on the board down below. I'm actually very interested in your opinion on the board. But aside from that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.